So let's consider the NQ operation in a circular queue. So what is an NQ operation? Inserting each element into a circular queue. Okay. So for that, initially consider this is an empty circular queue. So what is the position of what is the condition for an empty circular queue? That is, the front and rear pointers would be pointing to -1. Okay. So that is what I have drawn here. So all the position here are the size of our queue is, as you can see, it is 5. Okay. And initially the front and rear pointers are pointing to position -1. Okay. So according to our equation, first we will check whether the queue is full or not. And here the equation for checking the queue full or not is rear plus 1 mod size is equal to front. So for that, let's take the case of a full queue. Okay. So for that, I'm entering the elements in a fast mode. So I entered the first element, so that front points here and rear points here. Then when I am entering the next element, increment rear, enter the next element. Then I am not drawing. Increment rear, insert the next element. Increment rear, insert the next element. Then increment rear and insert the element. So right now we can mark front is pointing at this location and rear is at this location. So right now you consider the positions. Where is to which location the rear pointer is pointing? It is pointing to the last location. Okay. And where is front? Front is at the next location. Okay. That is, whenever the queue is full, then the front would be pointing to a location which is next to the rear's pointer, rear's position. Okay. And for example, let's take another example. Suppose I'm deleting element 10 and I'm deleting element 20. That is performing DQ operation. So front will be moving to this position. Okay. So right now front is here and rear is pointing to position 4. So you get me, right? I'm performing in a fast mode because you know this operation, right? That is why. Then, so right now front is pointing here and rear is pointing here. And right now the queue is not full. And there are 2 positions again left in order to perform NQ operation. If we wish, we can perform 2 NQ operations here. So, suppose I'm performing 2 NQ operations again. So for that, I can increment the value of rear, insert element, again increment, insert the next element. So in this case, again the queue is full, right? So why I am taking this case is I want to make you familiar with different cases where the CQ is full. So in this case, this is a full queue, CQ full case, queue overflow. So right now you check where is the position of rear and where is the position of front. Here also the front is pointing to a location which is next to rear. Okay. So whenever the queue is full, the front would be pointing to a location which is very next to the rear. And that is why we are taking the condition if rear plus 1 mod size. What is that equation? Why do we use rear plus 1 mod size? In order to get the next position of rear, right? So rear plus 1 mod size, that is the next location of the rear, is pointing to a location, and we are checking whether the front is pointing to the same location itself. Clear? So that is what our CQ overflow case is. That is, if rear plus 1 mod size is equal to front, then we can say the circular queue is full or CQ overflow. Okay. And in the else case, we are considering 2 cases in an NQ, whether the insertion is possible, NQ is possible or not. In the first case, CQ overflow, in that case we are not able to perform the NQ. Then else means insertion possible, NQ possible. So in NQ possible, if the NQ is possible, then again there are 2 cases. That is, whether we are entering the element into an empty queue or a non-empty queue. Okay, why we are taking the two cases? This is same as that of our normal queue. Okay, so this is again an empty queue. So friend is equal to -1 and rear is equal to -1. Okay. So whenever we are about to perform an NQ operation into our circular queue, there are two cases: insertion or NQ. Let's use the same technical term for insertion, NQ, into an empty CQ and to a non-empty CQ. Okay, to an empty CQ and to a non-empty CQ. So if it is an empty CQ, what is to be performed? We need to explicitly bring the value of friend to first position. That is, we need to explicitly assign value 0 to F. This is same as that of our normal queue operation. And even for the empty CQ or non-empty CQ, the operation for rear is the same. That is, we need to increment the value of rear in all the cases, even if it is in the empty circular queue or in a non-empty circular queue. So, right now you consider the situation. So, if NQ is possible, then we need to get the element from the user. So, the first part is read the element from the user and let's store that element into a variable known as item. Then, let's check whether the queue is empty or not. If the CQ is empty, what we need to do? We need to explicitly assign value 0 to F. We are not writing the part of R in this if statement because the increment of R is common for the empty CQ or non-empty CQ. Okay, so we can write it as a common code. So first we are checking if F is equal to -1 and R is equal to -1, whether the CQ is empty or not. If it is empty, what we need to do? F is equal to 0. You assign, you bring F is equal to 0. You make the pointer F to point to 0. And what about rear? Incrementing rear is a common operation for empty CQ as well as non-empty CQ. So write it as a common statement. So you have to take care that this step is not the else part of this if. Okay, this is a simple if part. This is a simple if. Based on that, we have written the statement F is equal to 0. Then the next statement is a common statement within this function. So you increment the value of rear. Rear is equal to rear plus 1 mode size. So what is rear plus 1 mode size? -1 plus 1 mode size. Mode 5. That is 0 mode 5 is equal to 0. It's clear, right? -1 plus 1 mode 5, that is 0 mode 5 is equal to 0. So we'll get the value for R also as 0. So right now we have the element ready in variable item and we have made both the pointers F and R to point to the first location. Then what is the only remaining thing is we need to assign the element 10 to CQ of 0. So for that what can be done? CQ of rear is equal to item. Clear? So this is the NQ operation of a circular queue. So as usual we will be performing, first we are checking whether the circular queue is full or not. And in circular queue, in order to check whether it is a circular queue overflow, we need to perform R plus 1 mode size is equal to friend. That is, we consider two cases of full circular queue. In both those cases, the friend was pointing to the next location, very next location of rear point. So we took that as a condition. R plus 1 mode size is equal to friend. If it is so, then display CQ overflow. Then else means NQ is anyways possible. Then you write the code whether so first if the NQ is possible, then we need to consider two cases, whether we are performing this NQ operation to an empty circular queue or a non-empty circular queue. Why we are taking these two cases? The operation of incrementing friend is different for these two cases. We need to increment the value of friend only in the case of empty circular queue And for non-empty and empty cases, the increment of rear pointer is the same. Okay. So once again, if NQ is possible, whether for empty case or non-empty case, anyways, we'll have to read the element item. So we read the element and stored that into a variable known as item. Then first we check whether the circular queue is empty or not. So if it is empty, we'll explicitly assign f is equal to 0. And for empty and non-empty case, we are writing a common code. So you have to notice this is not the else part of this if. This if is a simple independent if, and this is the common code for empty and non-empty case. So r is equal to r plus 1 mode size, CQ of rear is equal to item. So this is how we perform an NQ operation in a circular queue. Okay. Now we will discuss the DQ operation in a circular queue. So what is meant by DQ? DQ means the deletion of an element from a circular queue. Okay. So like our NQ operation, before performing NQ operation, what we checked, whether the queue is full or not, right? That is, whether one more NQ operation is possible or not. This is what we check. So in like the same in DQ, what we are checking is whether the deletion of an element is possible or not. That is, whether the circular queue is empty or not, or whether at least one element is there in order to perform the DQ operation. So for that, what we are supposed to check? We need to check there exists at least one element. So for that, we can perform the reverse operation. That is, we can check whether the circular queue is empty or not. And what is the condition for an empty circular queue? This is an empty circular queue. And where is the front and rear pointer is pointing? We know front is pointing to -1 and rear is pointing to -1, because right now they have no role in this array. They are pointing out. Pointing out means they are pointing to, initially we are setting a value which is -1. Okay. So first we are checking if f is equal to -1 and r is equal to -1. We can display the CQ is empty or circular queue underflow. Else means DQ is possible anyways. So if DQ is possible, then again there are two cases. Two cases we will consider. Which are the two cases? First case is only one element exists. And next case is more than one element. And what is the difference between these two cases that I'll explain? So in the else part, anyways, else means DQ is possible. So first we can display the message this element has been deleted. So for that, I have used the variable CQ of front. To which position front is pointing, we are about to delete that element. So let's consider the status of a queue with some elements, say 10, 20 and 30. This is enough. So suppose front is pointing here and rear is pointing here. This one you can understand, right? While performing NQ operation, we are moving only the rear pointer. Okay. So right now front is pointing here and rear is pointing here. So in this case, DQ is anyways possible, right? That is, more than one element is there, or at least one element is there. So first we can display which would be the element which we are about to perform DQ. Obviously the element 10, that is the element to which the pointer f is pointing, that is the element we are going to delete. So here first we will display the element 10 is deleted. We are displaying the message initially. So how can we access this element 10? Using this accessing method, display CQ of front. Front is the position. Our position is indicated as F. So CQ of front is deleted. You display the message first. Then only we are supposed to modify the value of F. Okay. Then the next step is that we need to consider two cases. Whether there exists only one element or more than one element. So this is the case where we have more than one element. And if we have more than one element, what we need to do, we can simply increment the value of friend so that we can consider this element as deleted. Okay, so this is our logic. So this is the second case, more than one element. And suppose only one element exists. So this is the only operation we need to do if there are more than one element in the queue. We just need to display the message 10 has been deleted. Then you increment the value of friend to the next position because more elements are there. But in the first case, only one element exists. What would be that case? Suppose we deleted 10. Then suppose if we are deleting element 20 also. So in that case also, what is the case? More than one element, right? That is, right now there are two elements. So if we are deleting element 20 means, again we can perform the second method. That is more than one element. So you delete, display the message element 20 is deleted. Then you increment the value of friend to the next position. So suppose we incremented the value of friend to the next position. So right now friend is pointing here. And what is the status of our queue right now? Queue with single element, right? So what is the condition for, or what you noticed from this diagram? Whenever only one element exists in a queue, the friend and Raya will be pointing to the same position. So this case is same as that of our DQ in a normal queue. Okay, so we can see that if there exists single element in a queue, then the rear pointer and the front pointer will be pointing to the same location. So because of that, in the else part means deletion is possible, DQ is possible. So we displayed the message CQ of friend is deleted. Then we are checking, giving preference to the first case, that is existence of single element. In that case, what is our condition? Friend would be equal to rear, right? So that is the condition we are checking. If friend is equal to, if friend is equal to rear, then what we need to do? If we are deleting this element also, what is the condition of this circular queue? It is empty, right? So on deleting the very last element from a circular queue, we are supposed to reset the value of friend and rear as -1. After deleting this element, we should reset the value of this friend and rear as -1. Friend is equal to -1, rear is equal to -1. So that is what we have done here. If friend is equal to rear, f is equal to -1 and r is equal to -1. Set these values. Okay. As it consists of more than one executable statement, we must include within braces. Then in the else part, here we are providing it within the else part. If this condition is not true, then move to the else part, that is more than one element. And what we did when more than one elements were there, we simply incremented the position of a friend. And how do we perform the increment operation in a circular queue? Using our golden equation. What is our golden equation? Friend, in order to increment our friend is equal to friend plus 1 more size. Clear? So this is the code for performing DQ operation in a circular queue. So once again, first we will check whether the circular queue is empty or not. If it is empty, we will check the condition f is equal to -1 and r is equal to -1. If it returns a true value, we will display CQ empty or underflow. Else, that means DQ possible. Then first we will display the element which is we are about to delete. That element is deleted. First we will display the message like that. Then we will consider two cases, existence of single element and more than one element case. So first we are checking whether there exists only one element within the circular queue by providing the condition if f is equal to r. If this returns a true value, explicitly set the value of friend is equal to -1, r is equal to -1. Otherwise means more than one element. This is for single element. Else, increment the value of friend as f is equal to f plus 1 more size. So this is the DQ operation in a circular queue. Then next one is our display operation. So I think we can explain it along with the DQ itself because all these codes are almost similar. We need to change only the function name. So display. So while we are about to display, again, first we need to check whether the circular queue is empty or not. So we provided the condition. This is same as that of our normal queue. Then in the else part means there exist elements, at least one element or more than one element, whatever it may be. So what we are supposed to do, we need to display the elements present in a queue. So suppose in this queue there are some elements 10. So on entering 10, front and rear will be pointing here. Then I am entering 20. So that R moves to this position. Then 30, R moves to this position. 40, R comes at position 3. Then 50. Okay. So right now, R is here. Front is at position 0. In this case, displaying these elements of a circular queue is same as that of our normal queue. Because in normal queue, what condition we provided? I starting from front to rear, I less than or equal to rear. That is, we made a pointer, a variable to point to front first. Then from there we made I to move through each location till R. And this works only when R is greater than F. Okay, so I'll show you one more condition. Suppose I'm dequeuing two elements. Okay, dequeuing means I deleted 10 so that F moved to the next location. I deleted 20 so that F moved to position 2. Understood, right? Right now, front is here and rear is here. Okay, and listen carefully. I'm going to perform 2NQ operation. So, for performing next NQ, 60, then again next NQ, 70. And what is, you check the value for rear and front right now. To which location front is pointing? Front is pointing to position 2 and rear is pointing to position 1. Can we say front less than rear? Or could we move that variable I from front to rear using our old equation I less than or equal to rear? That is not possible, right? Because here we can move from last location to first location. That is also possible. So the display also should be in a circular fashion. So for that, what can be done is that else means in the else case, display is possible. So you can display circular queue status. So you can provide this message only if you want, because this is a user-friendly message. Then we are about to provide the loop. So for anyways, we are supposed to move from front to rear. Okay, from front to till the rear pointer we will be moving. So for I is equal to front, then what is the condition we can give? I less than rear don't work. So I not equal to rear we can provide. Okay. Then as I mentioned in the NQ operation itself, whenever we perform a moving operation incrementing the position, that must use our golden equation, the same equation in terms of I. Okay. So here in order to increment the value of I, we are supposed to give I equal to I plus 1 more size. Okay. Don't get confused. Our friend was here. Okay. So I made I equal to front, starting from front, not equal to rear, and notice here in the rear position also element is there. So I not equal to rear will work the position just previous of the rear. Okay. So we need to include one more line in order to display the element within rear. That also we need to remember. Then within this, what we can display, we can provide printf. You write the full form. Okay, printf %d slash t or whatever spacing formatting structure you can give. Then CQ of I you display. So by giving this statement, what all elements will get displayed? We started the value of I from friend. What are we checking? I not equal to rare, right? So on considering 30, I is not equal to rare. So we displayed 30. Then incremented I is equal to I plus 1 more size. So incremented I to this position. Then next, what is the condition? I not equal to rare. Here I not equal to rare. So we displayed 40. Then again incremented I not equal to rare. So displayed 50. Again increment I, whether I is equal to rare? No. So displayed 60. Then from position 0, again incremented the value of I that reached rare. So right now you check the condition, I not equal to rare, but here I is equal to rare. So we are not able to display this value. On checking this condition, on returning a false value itself, it will come out of the loop. So what we need to provide, still that I is pointing to this position. Okay. So after coming out of this loop, you provide the same statement once again. Printf %t slash t CQ of I. Because even after existing from this loop, I would be pointing to this location. Okay. So this is for printing the value within the rare position, CQ of rare, to display CQ of rare. So this is the display function of a circular queue. So I hope it's clear. Okay. So this was the 3 functions in our circular queue: the enqueue operation, dequeue operation, and finally the display function. So by understanding the concept of these 3 functions, I hope you can easily write a program like our stack and queue. Okay, you already you have got a clear idea about how to write the stack program and queue program. So like the same, you follow all the method except the changes in enqueue and dequeue, enqueue, dequeue, and display function. Then start writing the code. Okay, thank you.